Hello, welcome to Scary Thoughts, Horror, Philosophy, Culture. I'm Mark Kate.
And I'm Chad Lott.
This is episode 131. We're going to be talking about Obsession, the Curry Barker film from 2025. You can email us at whatthe@scarythoughts.org. That's WHATTHE at scarythoughts.org. And do you have anything to plug?
Nope.
I do. My band, My Heart and Inverted Flame, just released our second album, a second full-length album. Did I send it to you?
You sent me like 2 songs from it.
Apologies.
It was very good, as always.
Oh, I'll send you the rest. It is called My Death is More Beautiful Than Your Life, and it is out on Crucial Blast. It's on CD and cassette and digital. Might be on vinyl later this year. Go and enjoy that. And spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Where are we starting with this?
Well, I was really glad to have seen this in the theater. It was a movie that really, an audience made it a lot of fun hearing what different people and different kinds of people gasped at. You know, like there's a lot of online conversation about like, who's the villain of this? And obviously it's Bear because he's a piece of shit. But the sort of behaviors of Nikki, if you've been dating long enough, you've probably experienced from the ops. And so it was interesting every time she did something like Crazy Girlfriendy, like guys and girls in the audience would be going, oh, like it got a lot of like real reactions from people.
That's pretty
which
good.
I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
As did like the kind of like pre-horror element, you know, like 30 minutes or so. It's like not really a horror. A lot of those like cringy Riverdale dating moments were very like impacted the audience quite a bit, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, a great movie. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was really into it. I don't think it was like a supremely good movie, but I really enjoyed it. Like, it looked really good and it was quite tight in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And to what you were just saying, I think it's cleverly somewhat adjacent to a rom-com in a way.
Yeah.
And it got me really thinking about, in a certain sense, if rom-coms are about what women want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then a lot of horror is about what women actually experience. Most rom-coms are somewhat centralized around women. Most horror films are in some way centralized around women. And I think that that's a really fundamental difference. However, the caveat is, of course, that a lot of rom-coms feel like they're selling something to women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that rom-coms and horror movies, if you look at them ideologically, that read can be troubling.
Yeah.
But I think they're both these two different reflections of women's inner lives that you don't get from most other genres of film, really.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like rom-com, I think film still, like a rom-com is what you think of it as. And rom-coms are kind of like top 40 album kind of movies, you know?
Sure.
But I was thinking about like where like romantasy is so huge right now. And so there's, oh dude, it's
in like
crazy.
literature or?
Oh my God, dude. It's like probably like the biggest literary movement right now is like all these like horny, dark books that women love. Men love them too, I guess, some of them. But like the last time I was in Portland, I went to Powell's Books,
Yeah,
as you do when you go there. And the aisle for the romantasy books was packed with like cool, stylish looking people. It was like a concert. I was like, this is really interesting.
huh?
Yeah. And all of the women in my book club are super into it.
You're in a book club?
Yeah, at work.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do you like? Is that what you're reading in your book club?
I think because it's like work, we don't really have those titles because we kind of talk about the books, and apparently like the more hardcore, like they rated on spiciness, like all the books that the women I know closer have talked about really enjoying are the most degenerate books possible. Nice. They're like as horny as like American Psycho is violent. Like that
brilliant.
Seems to be the kind of mode that's going on.
Great.
Which I appreciate people getting their freak on in literature.
For sure. But sorry, to tie what I was saying about what you were saying, the way that this intersects both the genres is that this film is a horror film that is about what women actually experience. And also, it's not about what women want, it's about what men want.
Yeah.
So it's a horror film about what men want and thereby what women
Not
experience.
even just like what men in general want, like a particular type of like shitty loser dude, right? Because like what he gets out of it's certainly not what I would want, you know? Like just
Really?
this weird submissive quiet. I mean, like wouldn't throw her out of bed or anything, you know, but yeah, like it would be lame to like wish for someone to love you.
Of
Like
course.
I think everybody can agree that
Well,
is lame.
I think there is something to be fair about at the front, which is just like you feel heartbroken and you pick up a little rabbit's foot and you just go like, oh, I wish she'd love me. And then it came true and you're the asshole who wished something. Like he wasn't the asshole for wishing it. He was the
Yeah.
asshole for not doing anything he could to turn it around.
Yeah.
Like
I
even when he knew what was happening, he didn't turn it around.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about this because, like, you know, the discourse online is basically like he's the bad guy, you know, blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But I mean, the real bad guy is the company that put this dangerous product out on shelves. You know, like so. I think our old villain capitalism is really to blame here. You know what I mean?
New age capitalism
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, and then also like the idea of like the monkey's paw is like not a new thing, obviously, because there's a whole genre of monkey paw stories. But I think even in the world of this film, the the wish does not necessarily always go bad in an evil way. If you think of like there's a brief moment when he's looking online and
My
some of
mom's
them were,
pretty
yeah,
now.
my mom's pretty. She was never pretty before. Like that one's, and then some of them were like, it didn't work. And you realize like it would be possible to make a wish that came true that you might not recognize.
Mm.
Like you know, I don't know what it would be, but like maybe like, you know, I wish I was better at my job. And then you're just marginally better at whatever email job you have, you know, like, or like, I wish my career would really take off, but like your career is like something that doesn't make a lot of money. So like you're the most popular kindergarten teacher or something, you know what I mean? Like, so you could make a wish that did not really firework change your life. And then, you know, the guy that works at the crystal shop or whatever, he seems fine, you know? So then that makes me think, is wishing someone loved you particularly evil? You know, like is that type of wish has a tendency to go bad, right?
Well, I think that there's something interesting that is explores between wishing something were so and the reality of wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like I I can certainly understand wishing someone would love you, a
Yeah.
specific person would love you. That's different from having the opportunity to assert your will over that person's agency,
Yeah.
which is what happens, but that's not his original. That's not his wish necessarily. He's just yearning for someone that maybe he has if he would just like speak up. I mean, there's that vagueness in the script and even in how they shot it
Mm-hmm.
that does not definitively let the viewer know whether or not she was into him to begin with. She might have been totally available
Yeah.
or not. We don't know.
Yeah. I feel like even though that scene, right, when you know, when the turn happens, it makes it seem like there's an opportunity for him to tell her how she's like, oh, then now would be the time for you to
Yes,
tell me. But he's kind of sucks,
he sucks.
you know, and and later in the film, I think it makes it pretty clear that she has friend zoned him. Like she even like says that she has friend zoned him, and she's hooking up with his buddy, who's a totally different sort of like outgoing, gregarious kind of character. Like, you know, not
He also sucks.
he also sucks, but he at least seems fun. You know, and like there's like I think there's like the element of like small townness here, like it is in
Mm,
a small town. I mean, maybe you grew up in the Bay Area, but like in a little town, you might just be dating the best possible person of a group of friends, and
right.
it's like it's fine,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, as long as nobody gets pregnant, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, something else comes up in this movie, which is like men taking advice about women from other men,
yeah,
which is so. I just have to say, I find this a confounding thing. and it's perennial. It's very present currently, I mean, in the manosphere, the entertainment of it all, men taking advice about women from other men. I don't understand this. This is very perplexing to me.
I don't know. I mean, I think
it's another example of we have access to all the information in the universe in our pocket, and we still turn to it's another example of turning to the least informed for your information. If you want to know what women want, ask a woman. Don't ask the man. Don't ask a guy who's invested in you not understanding women.
I mean,
that is the manosphere.
I don't know.
It's insulated.
I've heard my wife give guy friends really bad advice sometimes. And so like, I feel,
well,
I don't know
advice is bad anyway.
Yeah.
But point taken.
I don't know that like advice is better or worse because it's gendered. You know what I mean? I think you just maybe notice. I think some people just know what to do with people and some people don't. And, the Andrew Tate particular example is like, that's like a sad dude's fantasy of what like a real successful man life would be. And in some ways too, like, I mean, I'm sure like you could accuse a lot of guys of sour grapes, like where it's like, yeah, it would be pretty dope to drive supercars around and date models or whatever, as long as you're not sex trafficking them or whatever.
Yes.
But on the surface, like there is an appeal to that lifestyle, but it's also quite shallow. It's like you're a Grand Theft Auto character.
Yeah.
They're like
which again sounds fun. But...
Yeah, it does sound fun. But like, like as you and I have both been married for quite a long time, like there's just a different mode of life that evolves when you like are actually committed to somebody or whatever. And then all my like perennial bachelor buddies seem real sad when they hit their 50s.
I mean, this is something I'm really, if I can, I'm not going to give an ad for my psychotherapeutic services here, but I have this thing when I work with couples that I'm pretty agnostic to whether or not a couple stays together or not. I just want everybody to be okay, right? Like when I'm working with a couple, I just want them to be all right. And if that means they go their separate ways, I want them to be okay in that decision. If they stay together, I want them to be okay in that decision. But I'm kind of 51% for staying together. And I know that's a weird number, but it's like, unless there's abuse, being in a relationship is better for your mental health. It's better for your longevity. It's better for your physical health. It's better for your happiness. It keeps you connected. It keeps you alive. Yeah. And that's not true of everybody, but statistically, that is mostly true. And it's stupid to even be talking about science has shown us, because it's just like, well, yeah, we all seem to find ourselves in these relationships that are almost exactly the same in almost every culture, as far back as history goes in most cultures. Oh, turns out it's actually kind of functional? You don't say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you build kind of like an infrastructure of existence with somebody, and like to split it up, it's like, I mean, even if you and your buddy owned a coffee shop together, right? And wanted this, I'm out of here. It would probably cripple the business, at least for a while, like,
right.
And if you think about just from the, the day to day of the relationship, but like, I think about like, my mom was married like 7 times.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. And, and I think about like the chaos that came after every like turnover,
right.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then I think about like, fuck man, like my wife and I, we've been together almost 25 years. And I know you and Monique have been together for 62 years or something like that. Almost 62 years. And it's not like it's not fucking hard.
Yeah.
But there's, and I think any relationship you get, like all long-term relationships, there's probably moments where you're like, okay, what would it mean to break this to pieces?
Yes.
Yeah. And to me, I think you're 51%. The way I would feel it is like that breakage is so much worse than what it would do to you. Just like, like I don't want the dogs. You know what I mean? Like now I got to go live in a studio apartment with this fucking Malinois. Like that sounds terrible. And like, I know that's not sexy, but
it's you're making a joke, but I would like almost multiply that little joke times 1 million.
Yeah.
And that scale suddenly becomes not just a like, oh, what do we do about the plants? It's like, no, literally every aspect of your life is what do we do about the
Yeah.
plants?
Who gets
and
the air
it
fryer?
sucks.
Like,
but but who gets the friends? Do we talk to each other's parents anymore?
yeah.
Where do I even live? Where do you live? Do we keep talking? And of course, the thing that you and I are not discussing because it's not part of our reality is if there are kids involved,
Yeah.
which changes fucking everything.
Makes it so much worse.
Well, not kids make things worse, but it would make a divorce worse for sure.
Oh yeah.
More complicated.
Yeah, depending on the age of the kid or whatever, you know.
Well, I don't know. My parents split when I was, I think, 19.
Mm-hmm.
It really fucked me up.
Really?
Like, it really did.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just think about that meme, the first time, you know, that meme.
No, what?
It's like it's from the Coen Brothers movie. I think like one of the characters is about to be hung, and he looks over to this other guy who's being hung too, like it's a Western, and the one guy's crying and the other guy's not crying. He's like looks at him. He's like, first time, and like the joke is like, you know,
That's good. I forgot about that.
But for me, it's like divorces. Like I've been through like a bunch of them. You know?
Yeah.
But you know, it's like but somebody very close to me is getting divorced right now, and his kid's like 19 or whatever, and he's like has some feelings about it, and I was like, and I think I might have been a little insensitive because I was like, what do you fucking care? You're an adult. You know, how does this affect you at all? It just means you won't have a convenient place to move back to if you fuck up, and you should do that anyway. You know, you're a man now.
That's profoundly cold.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to this movie, you can imagine this guy being forever alone if that's his approach. It's also interesting that even though he's a pretty distasteful guy, and not just because of the choices he makes.
Cat ownership.
It's interesting that like he's maybe 50-50 has a shot with one of his best friends.
Yeah.
And 100% shot with the other female best friend.
Yeah.
And just blows it with both of them.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really. I think he could have made it happen with the other one, but it doesn't. It goes pretty south.
Yeah, but I don't.
Which is his fault.
It is.
You know, I was thinking about like the better wish would have been like, I wish I was the kind of person she would love. You know, and then, but that might make you like, what if all of a sudden you care about musicals a lot and you're just stuck in this hell of like Les Miserables all the time.
I mean, you know, I think this is into the territory of starting to like litigate wishes, but you could see that wish could invert exactly what this movie is suddenly you're in the underneath peeping out.
Right. You could like
of someone else
yourself.
Yeah. Of this body that's getting like even more and more ripped and better at something you don't care about and you're being dragged along.
I'd just be like, shut up, subconscious pussy. You're just like,
Jesus.
Speaking of like the subconscious peeking out, that first kind of jump scare where she like comes to is so good.
Yeah.
A lot has been said about this, but I think she is a great actor.
Yep.
Like I really quite, liked how they developed her character, you know, and it has like, there's this particular kind of nostalgia for simple times sort of feel to it. Like my nephew, for example, he loves like the American Pie movies and stuff because it's like a pre-cell phone party. So he's like, oh, you just went to a party and the party was, you just stayed at the party and it was a whole thing. And so there's a little bit of that, like the whole idea of like a small town where like it's a Wednesday night and your job's so inconsequential that you could just go get fucked up on a Wednesday at a pub quiz and just take yourself to the job you don't care about the next day. Like it's so appealing in a lot of ways, you know. Like a good job would be like, or like imagine you work in a little store and there's like 4 people staffed. Could you imagine? Like the tech company I work at's barely staffed like that, you know.
barely staffed like that.
Like heavy staff, like a little music store has like 4
Oh.
employees on at a time, it's like kind of wild. Like think about any business you've been into in the Mission recently, there's maybe one person there.
Yeah. That is, I mean, this movie is very tight, but there are a number of kind of weird things like that.
Yeah.
I'm also into the way in which Bear, the protagonist, is how his morality kind of walks out through the film, because we can criticize him for making this wish, but then he has all these opportunities to try to do something about it. Turns out he can't. But he does really go along with it, even when he hears through the phone Nikki actually screaming.
Yeah, it's so dark.
From hell.
Yeah.
And he just kind of just goes back to dating as usual, sort of. The guy at Giles's magic shop. Oh, no. On the phone, I think it's, if you die, the wish will go away.
Yeah.
And he even starts to like spell out the morality for him. And he still continues to go about his business. And I understand that, like, obviously sacrificing yourself for another person is, it's a pretty tall order. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But he does not actually demonstrate love. Like, he wants her to be in love with him. That's his wish.
Yeah.
But then at no point does he really demonstrate that he is capable of loving another person. Right?
Yeah, it's like when he's talking his little like mating monologue at the very, very beginning.
Yep.
It's basically he's describing a person who just happened to be very nice to him in school when he was having a hard time.
Yeah.
Which is not really like, I guess I could see how you would develop an emotion for something like somebody like that, but it wasn't like, oh, I saw you on the dance floor and we were so attracted to each other and there was chemistry, but it's just not that. It's like this sad puppy love sort of thing. And it's like, I mean, I can't even imagine pining over somebody from high school. Even like an exceptional person like her, like she seems pretty cool. She's like an author. She's pretty. She's friendly. Gives money to homeless people.
Give me $20.
Yeah, fucking liberal. No, I'm just kidding. Like, but like she's like an appealing character. Still like a high school crush. It's like just unsavory to me.
Sure.
So for some reason, I don't know. But I mean, the other thing to think about though is we don't really know what's wrong with him. Like has something happened to him, or is he like have some, I don't know, like severe anhedonia or something like that? It's like, so it's interesting to see like how much of the conversation is just him being this total piece of shit, but like you don't really, like, you don't know. And then also the idea that the wish thing is real is pretty absurd until he calls the number, and even then it still could be like a joke. Like I don't know that I would kill myself over a customer service call,
True.
Yeah.
I love that the two people who work at the magic shop and the guy on the phone with One Wish Willow, the caricature of millennial Gen Z blasé.
Totally. Yeah.
I think it's a great choice.
Yeah.
Most people in this universe that aren't the four of them are just so whatever.
Yeah, I love that, like, there's this, like, a aggressive mundaneness around all the mystical aspects of this thing. Like, there's not, like, it's not like The Conjuring, where it's, like, there's this deep well of ridiculous lore that they have to be exposed to in order to win. It's just, it may as well be a box of Kellogg's cereal,
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
There's a way in which you could look at this is fan theory territory, and that's not what I'm really. Yeah, I'm trying to plant that to get past it. The words $1 billion are said in front of Nikki, I think twice at the very end. So there's a possibility she knows there's $1 billion. So the very final shot of her screaming because of what she's just experienced. So she's as traumatized as anybody could possibly be. She's been in hell in this really fucked up, twisted way. But she might know there's $1 billion. So even though there's all these bodies in the room and she's at the center of it and she's really messed up, there is this way out. So would you take her experience if there was $1 billion at the end of it, or would you just pass?
Do I kill two people that I'm close to for $1 billion? And after like a few weeks of like,
I mean, I know I'm saying her exact experience. Like, if you knew that as soon as the film ends, she goes to that house and somehow like loads a pickup truck with $1 billion and gets to have.
I think you need multiple semis. Like I was thinking about like how much, yeah,
it's absurd. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, there's the thing. I wonder if the money disappears because the guy dies, so that wish is over.
Oh, yeah.
I was curious about like.
Okay, barring that, would you be willing to experience what she experienced with that kind of payoff?
I don't know. I think like that whole experience would be so like traumatizing that you would not recover from it.
Yeah.
You know, just like I know somebody who killed somebody in a fight, and they were in the right, and they were haunted by it. My dad was in an accident with somebody who died, and he wasn't even at fault, and it haunted him.
Yeah.
Now you've beaten your coworker to death with a brick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you know, you shot the guy you were hooking up with for like 2 years. Like you were enslaved by a loser for however long it was, like a couple weeks. You know, I don't know. I don't think like your face is completely fucked up from hitting it with like a glass. Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, $1 billion is a lot of money, you know.
Also, you'd get to be a good writer. Her excerpt that she reads at the party is great.
Yeah, I
want to read that book so badly.
Yeah.
That, like incest Hansel and Gretel.
Oh my God. And then like the choice of like delivering it in the increasingly Dickens Fair accent, like it just keeps turning up as it keeps going. Like I thought that scene was so well, in just the tension that it builds in it, like where she like drags the chair and the complete discomfort of the friends at the party is just, and again, like the mundaneness of the drinking. What is that game called? Jenga.
Yeah.
Like the drinking Jenga, which is I've played Jenga where there's like stairs and stuff on it. It's really fun for whatever reason, even though I agree with the idea that games kill the vibe at parties. But yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about like the way the movie builds and releases tension is just super rad. Not to ignore your question.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I was poor, I would have said yes. I've been like, fuck yeah, $1 billion, bro.
Yeah.
Which makes me think like this is the type of question we would usually save more for the end of the show. But like, what do you think you would use your one wish Willow?
I don't know. My life is fine. I feel like my life is one where I wish everything was just a bit better. Wish I had just a little bit more money. Wish I had just wish my health was just a little better.
Yeah.
I wish I was just a little more beautiful and younger.
I wonder, like it depends on like what the upper limits of it are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for example, like I wish I had Superman's powers. Would be sick. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I wouldn't want that though. You know?
You wouldn't want to be able to fly around the world and turn time backwards.
But then I'm that guy.
Yeah.
This gets back to, I think we explored this some time ago, where I feel like there's a cap on how much, what?
Your girlfriend wants a diamond, you just crush a piece of coal in your hand.
Yeah. There's a cap on how much I would want to win in the lottery, because after a certain point, your life just completely changes, and it wouldn't actually improve my quality of life. Like if I just had $100 million tomorrow, my life would probably not go well. And I don't mean because I'd spend it all and be poor like people often do when they win lotteries. I mean, now I have to be suspect of every interaction I have that someone wants something from me. I need to be concerned for my safety in a way that has never occurred to me before. That sort of thing. I have to be concerned about my family in a way that I've never had to before. The gift that the gifts it would bring would be amazing, but the cost would be so severe. Whereas if I won like $7 million, well, then my life would be so lubricated
Mm-hmm.
and not really fuck it up unless I made some profoundly bad decisions.
I don't think
$100 million, those decisions are made for me. And I feel like that's the same with like, if I could be invisible, like, yeah, that's really fun. But then what does my life become? How does it undermine the things that I actually enjoy about the life that I do have?
I don't, man, there's no upper limit to the amount of money I would accept. I mean, because like, say you were like, you had like $1 trillion or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
You go put Sloth from Goonies on Mount Rushmore. You know, you do shit like that. I think would be pretty sick.
You're just a force for good waiting to happen.
I mean, I think you would do like, imagine if the Whalen-Yutani Company was owned by Weird Al. You know, that's pretty much.
That's the reality of you with $1 billion.
Oh yeah, I mean
trillion. Sorry,
I mean even $1 billion, I'd be having a zany time.
Yeah, I don't think we're on the same train here.
I mean, I just think about like the amount of fun you could cause with $1 billion.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, totally. I mean, again, like, I'm not immune from fantasizing about the ridiculous shit.
Yeah, like you could pay Jason Segel to actually do the Dracula musical. Like, how sick would that be?
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe just like the idea of like money would make you mournful. I don't know. I think it's like the old classic. You just become more of like what you are.
No. What else?
Yeah, I guess it depends too, like whether you think the wish is going to go bad or not, you know, because like a lot of money would be a pretty safe wish, you know, but I was thinking about like the ways it could go bad. Like imagine you're like, I want to be the world's greatest chess player, but everybody who's worse at chess than you just dies of like Taco Bell lettuce diarrhea, you know, like there's.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like
you really worked that one out.
Or like you're like, hey, I want to be like a famous musician, but then you're like the Friday girl. You know what I mean? You're like there's like all kinds of ways for it to go bad. But I also like I had this feeling when like one of my like extreme weed benders, I was thinking about how the monkey's paw is a psyop to get people to not wish for the possible. You know, like the whole be careful what you wish for. Like, what if it was just the practice to not be careful about what you wished for and you just always wished for like endless open possibilities? It's very Burning Man of me, I think. Yeah, like maybe like you're a character, like the center of your like being is what makes the wish good or bad.
Right.
Yeah. Like could you imagine Mr. Rogers getting monkey pawed?
It's hard when you mention Mr. Rogers because I think that even though Mr. Rogers was a real person, he's a fictional person. He only exists as a fiction that we do not yet know what was wrong with that man.
Did you see the documentary about him?
I did not. I really want to, but
yeah.
But I just haven't yet.
Think obviously, you know, we're looking at a piece of media or whatever, but like they interviewed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he seems to have been the real deal.
Just
which
pretty
is pretty
unimpeachable.
Great. Yeah.
Good.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I think about
that's
just
a rare
like,
fucking thing.
Just, you know, of all the things that are just magical about Mr. Rogers, I think, have you ever seen the video of him at the Senate, like kind of asking for more money for like that scene where he changes this hard-hearted piece of shit politician's outlook in real time? I don't know that I've ever, like, that's like a magical moment. Like that may as well be like Gandalf doing a spell, you know?
Yeah. I feel like people like him are examples that prove the rule. We're all broken. We're all fragile. We all abuse power. We all have the capacity for horrible things.
Mm.
And yes, when I say we all, that's not literally true. But it's so true that it's important to recognize that anybody who thinks they're the exception is probably fooling themselves.
Yeah.
And if you think that the word probably is the exception that means you're wrong about that as well.
Yeah.
We're all capable of horrific, terrible things. And that's often what happens when people are given power, and often what happens when people are given power too quickly to uh, uh, not digest it, to incorporate it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's partly what this movie demonstrates too, is he begins this journey so powerless that he can't even speak the truth to this girl he's in love with, but he's given a little bit of power and he's willing to let the woman that he's in love with suffer more than maybe it's possible to suffer,
Mm-hmm.
and go along with it because it benefits him.
Yeah. Have you paid attention to any of like the lore around the cost of the film?
No,
That it was like, so, you know, it was like $750,000 to make,
that's
which is,
crazy.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. It made me wonder if there's a little bit of a thing like the movie Clerks. Remember, like Clerks, the lore was like, it was $26,000 and
Yeah.
people had to go see what this $26,000
Yeah.
film was. I know we usually don't get into like box office talk so much, but one of the interesting things about this film's box office, other than the fact it made like $300 million, which is absurd for any film, you know, it kept making money week over week. Like, because people kept going back to see it and bringing people with them to see it. Like, oh God, you got to go see this movie.
That's cool.
And it's been a while, I think, since there's been a word of mouth hit like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Backrooms also same week. It was out. I saw them both the same week.
Yeah.
Interesting. These two sort of indie horror films. I guess Backrooms would be an indie, like with young, you know, directors just kind of like popped off. And what's interesting about it to me is, there's not such like a cultural moment driving it, you know, and I guess you could maybe say like it's like this rejection of AI, but I think a lot of people aren't like thinking of these films as particularly anti-AI. They're just kind of good films that were out in the summer, like good fun horror movies.
Yeah.
But still like you know, like Obsession like trounced the Baby Yoda movie at the box office.
Good.
Yeah. Dude, I watched a clip from it. I was like, oh, I'll watch the X-Wings blow stuff up. That's kind of mostly what I want to see, like on YouTube. Sigourney Weaver is so phoning it in that I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit at first. I was like watching it and I was like, oh, this is, or I thought it was maybe like a AI fan film. I was like, oh, this is so bad. And then I looked and I was like, oh, it's from Disney Plus. I was like, this is, or whatever, Lucasfilm. It is such a bad looking film and so joyless and shitty. It's amazing to see something that was so beloved, so stripped of heart.
I'm going to assume that what you're describing is in some ways the intersection of the Netflixification and the the MCU-ification of cinema. Everything's garishly lit. Nobody's on an actual set talking to an actual person. Anything that can connect cinema's lineage from the theater is taken away, and that's fine. I mean, animation is even further, but that's kind of beside the point. Just like humanistic storytelling.
Yeah.
If you're making a narrative film, that's kind of what it's resting on. And there's exceptions. There's always exceptions, of course, but we seem to be really locked into this thing that is very, very exciting to a lot of people and doesn't seem to have much longevity.
Yeah, I immediately thought of there was an interview I saw with one of the Marvel actors where she was talking about it was such a difficult film to do because like she's in a room by herself, just acting these lines, and the characters' names aren't even the names. She doesn't even know like, oh, I'm talking to Dr. Doom. She's just like, I'm yelling at the villain of and like they don't have any sort of details like how. Just that confusion and shittiness just must translate into the film in a way, you know, like a lot of like.
Well, it does because they're boring.
Yeah, they're boring. They're bored. But then I was thinking about like Kevin Clark's production of The Goat, which was fucking great.
Edward Albee play.
Yeah, it was. You guys have missed it now, but it was phenomenal. That there's nothing on the stage. Like there's like literally nothing on the stage, but the actors are still great because they're in the room together. So that's how lame Marvel movies are. Like even like the pop of fun that some actors could have by themselves with no set isn't even available to them.
Right.
And then this and like to tie back to Obsession, this is like the opposite of this. Like all the sets are locations. You know, they're real places. They have like a feel. The actors, you know, it's like small scale movie set, so like everybody kind of knows each other.
Well, there are some special effects, obviously. That actress did not have her face bashed in with a brick, for example.
Right.
But I'd say, except for those very peak moments,
Yeah.
most of the creepiest shit in this movie was just her
Yeah.
being creepy, and she's good at it.
Her unbotoxed face with all of its expression.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small thing, but I really did appreciate the scene. It's really early in the film where she comes to his place and she's standing outside, and all you can see is a bit of glint. She's just totally in silhouette, and there's just glint off her eye.
Yeah.
And they're having this full conversation. It's a proper scene, but you can't see any expression on her face. I thought that was also another layer of interesting choices, that this incredibly expressive actor was just allowed to deliver a scene in silhouette.
Yeah. And just the oscillation between a very sweet, loving moment and just complete insanity. And then I also love like the montage where they're like sort of first dating.
Yes.
It plays like a rom-com montage.
It really does.
It's like as sweet and fun as anything. And even the scene right before the girl gets beat to death with the brick, like the music that's playing in the background, it has such a like twee early 2000s, like 500 or 300 Days of Summer or whatever the fuck that movie was. Yeah. The Zooey Deschanel rom-com, Manic Pixie Dream Girl
movies.
It has that feel.
Subgenre.
That stuff was so. I was reminded a little bit of like the whole like idea in grunge, how it was like loud soft. Like this movie really had that sort of dynamic a little bit. Did you see any of the stories around the woman who's like the art director or set director
for this movie?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. It's weird. It felt like they were like trying to make some sort of controversy around this movie. Like it was a pretty uncontroversial movie. It was just a good movie, right?
Yeah.
And this woman who worked on the film, she like wrote this essay about how fucked up it was that indie film people, they just get a day rate and they don't share in the profits of the film at all. And so her idea was like, you know, like I only got paid like $6,000 for a month of work.
Yeah, it sucks, but
it sucks. And I really like feel like for example, when I was a bartender, we had a big night, I wouldn't cap what the barbacks made. Like they made as much as we made percentage of. You know what I mean? I always felt like there should be like, if everyone was making money, there should be no upper limit to what the lowest paid person made. Whereas when I was a barback, the most I could make was like $100. Like no matter how fucking crazy the night was, that was like the tap.
Yeah, here's the difference though. If you're a barback, you are working proportional to the income. Whereas if you are a set designer, you are hired to do a job and run none of the risk.
Right.
Because you could, as a barback, show up for a shift where no one shows up and you walk with $4.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is because no one showed up. The filmmakers, I mean, this is capitalism. Sorry.
They're taking all the, I mean, this is like
the risk.
They're taking all the risk.
They're taking all the risk. That very low number of how much this movie cost to make is nonetheless, I'm assuming this set designer did not invest in the movie.
Right. And what I thought was kind of interesting was that like, even in this moment of like rising socialism in America, if you believe that is happening, like, you know, it's the Mamdani summer. A lot of the like commenters about the story were kind of like on that same kick. Like, hey, look, lady, you got paid your wage and you agreed to it. And it's good for this guy if he made $1 billion. But I was thinking, this is so boomery of me. I was thinking about how anyone who worked on this movie is for sure getting a good next job. Like the
Fair. Hope
caterer
so.
on this movie
Hope
was
so.
like, oh, I catered the hit movie Obsession. Oh, that's interesting, and especially a movie that looked as cool as this movie did for as cheap as it was. Like anybody designing anything on it would probably make their career. And now I think this woman and like this effort to like kind of like get compensation from drama, I guess, seems lame to most people.
Like, I get where she's coming from, of
Yeah, I
course,
do
because,
too.
like, imagine you worked really long hours and did a really fucking great job for pennies
Yeah,
on this thing that went and became this international success. It would be really hard not to be sour grapes about it.
yeah,
Even if, as you say, you recognize that you could leverage it, it would be hard not to go like, well, yeah, I can leverage it, but also I need to pay my rent now,
yeah,
not
yeah.
after the next project.
Right. But you would have paid your rent with your wages from that you agreed on. You know what I mean? It's not like
Hopefully.
yeah. And I think the other thing was funny was like she talked about her wages. I think like the way Hollywood works is so fucking sad. I worked on a couple films in the Bay Area, and there was a moment in the early 2000s when I was going to move with my buddy to LA, who was like a PA. We were going to go do movie stuff. And the idea of like the boom bust of it, I could not tolerate.
It's
Like the whole,
intense.
yeah, like I just knew that I was not made to like be like, we're working 3 months, we don't have a job. We're working 3 months, we don't have a job.
Yeah.
I think it's it's so crazy to me that people just do art like that, you know. But I don't know what like like we want the government subsidizing artists. That you're gonna get terrible art like that. But I mean,
Sometimes.
maybe like healthcare for sure. But like the idea that you would
No,
just have like
government subsidized art, like a lot of countries. It's hard. I know I'm cutting you off a little here, but like a lot of incredible art in America is made with government subsidies. Less now because of they who shall remain nameless. But
RFK.
um, but no, like most countries around the world that have money to spare subsidize the arts, and that ends up being, part of the national identity, whether it's the UK or Norway or Iceland or Canada or here.
Yeah, like a bunch of those Cronenberg movies were Canadian funded,
totally.
right? Yeah.
And America's great export is cinema, and it's not really subsidized, so that's an exception. But like visual art has traditionally a lot of federal money and local money goes into the visual art world, for example, or theater, or dance.
Yeah,
or drag now.
Yeah, the last film adjacent thing I worked on was a commercial for the company I work at.
Yeah.
Like before AI, when you could actually go shoot a commercial, and I just remember watching just different members of the crew just doing little things that seemed like just bodies of knowledge that were just acquired over time. Like for example, we were doing a whip pan with the camera, left, right, really fast, and they just kept missing the mark with this particular camera rig they had. And the choice was like, take the camera apart, spend 2 hours like switching it all out, or do something else. And this dude just comes over, this guy wearing a utility belt, and he just puts 2 vice grips on it on either sides and blocks it. And I was like, oh, what a super clever thing that only a person who did this all the time would know.
Yeah.
And it seems so fucked up to me that like that type of like knowledge is like lost, or would be lost because of a couple of years of not having good movies made. Or,
right.
Or like, oh, green screen everything now. Or like, oh man, what a nightmare. But then, I was looking at how they were using the IMAX cameras for the Odyssey. Like they were using these close-ups, and some dude had to like build 2 mirrors so that they could see around the camera. Because it's so big, right? To see the faces of the actors. Like, oh, like there's always going to be something develop as change. But
right.
I don't know. But I mean, the roundabout way of saying like this movie felt like an old craft movie. Like, remember when we were talking those guys that made Vast of Night?
Yeah.
And they were just talking about like using go-karts and running around with like the camera on a piece of wood, like Evil Dead style. I feel like that to me, I've never really made a movie. Like I've worked on a couple movie sets, but like that seems so fun and romantic to me. Like the idea of like making a movie with your friends and But do you think an audience cares so much about that? Like, do you think that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's be fair. A certain kind of
Certain
audience
audience
absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
People who are invested in the lore around cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, it's similar to music. Like, people who like indie music, like the lore around indie bands. Most people don't give a shit.
No. I mean, I still am a Kevin Smith fan after all these years.
Right.
Like, I like
even though he's tried so aggressively to shake loose all of his fans who are invested in his filmmaking abilities.
You think so? Like,
yeah, I mean, he knows he's a shit filmmaker. And
yeah, but that's always been the whole thing the whole time.
No, I know.
I mean, I saw him speak in the late 90s about being a bad movie filmmaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has made some bad movies, though.
Yeah.
But he also made Tusk, which fucking rules. Have you come around on Tusk?
I have not come around on Tusk.
That's a shame.
If you want to hear us argue about that one, I don't know what episode that was.
It's
it was
an
a while
old
back.
episode. Yeah. I feel like I was vindicated, though, because Tusk has become sort of like, people regard it now.
Regarded as what?
Like, it's just
who are people?
Like an indie body horror movie. Like,
Lord.
People take it seriously. I've seen it come up on Instagram of like, oh, a crazy movie that you need to see. Like, that sort of like, hot girl with her boobs out telling you about Jason movies, like that genre of Instagrammer.
Yeah, this is not selling me on what you're. Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Oh my god,
that this is worth taking seriously.
What a classic movie! Speaking of classic movies, do you think that this movie will be around in like 10 years? You think people will?
I think it kind of will, but not to a major degree. I think that there is, like, we already have. God, how do I say this? I mean, everything is forever all the time now. So I think the answer is, of course, but that's not necessarily what you're asking. Like, is this going to be a Criterion Collection movie someday? I don't know.
I bet it would be a Criterion movie.
There's a lot about it that is quite smart, but there's a certain depth that it does not have. Yeah, it's not a very layered film.
Well, it's a Twilight Zone grade concept. You know what I mean? But I think what it makes up for that and is like the acting is just so undeniable.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to take anything away from it. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just sort of saying, like, it's not a Hereditary, right? Where it's not a film where if you watched it 5 more times, each time you'd pick up on not just like, oh, I didn't notice that little thing, but like an entire layer of understanding what is being constructed in this film.
Yeah, I agree with you because the first time I saw it in the theater, and my friends and I, we walked out and we were just like, we'd all dated crazy people at different points in our life. And even though like she's not crazy and you're supposed to be kind of sympathetic to her plight, we've all been on the receiving end of a tantrum from someone that we've been dating, I think. And there's a feeling of panic that you feel, especially in public.
Yeah.
Like it can get quite uncomfortable.
Well, like where she stands up in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Suddenly it starts yelling.
There seemed to be like what I will take a chance on and say like a heavy Latina element of the audience.
Oh, wow.
When I saw it. Yeah. And there was a lot of like guys laughing and women going, oh, like that movie, like that moment seemed to have like a real like kind of like, oh, I've been there, or I've been that person.
That's great.
Like especially the line that got a really big laugh from the crowd was like, I thought we were having a good time. When she's like, we're having a good time. And like that, like this dude next to me just started, he goes, oh, like it was interesting to see what, I found myself, even though I remember on our Nosferatu episode, I complained about the audience at this theater.
Yeah.
But, for like a loud, fun movie, like this theater I go to is pretty fun to go to. Like it's where I saw Cocaine Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And the scene where like the kid, like, or I think there's like a scene where somebody just eats like a large amount of cocaine, other than the bear. the whole crowd just being like making a noise, like they knew what that would feel like. I really appreciated like that. Let's say it's not an Alamo Drafthouse crowd is
Right.
how I'll describe
Yes.
it. Yeah. It is now my favorite place to see movies like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But backing up, I think this movie is incredibly effective.
Yeah.
Like the thing that it was going for, I think it fucking nailed hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm also thinking it's funny that just the crazy girlfriend thing. I think that is a layer to this movie that is really interesting. That like, even though yes, you're supposed to be sympathetic and it's about him being the asshole and all that, just the unhinged woman at the center of this all.
Yeah.
Even though we're given these reasons why and it's hyperbolic and dangerous, it does have a certain escalation.
Yeah.
Where it just keeps getting worse. I mean, it's pretty fucking weird from the jump.
Yeah.
But that unpredictability is very real.
Yeah. I think if this movie had no supernatural elements of it and she was just like a Fatal Attraction type character, her performance would have delivered in that script as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like if it was just like, this girl's off her meds or something
Right.
like that, even the lamest version of it like that.
Yeah. You got the Fatal Attraction connection, right?
With the cat?
The
Yeah,
rabbit.
for sure.
Yeah. I appreciated that.
Yeah. When I described this to my mom, we watched it when I went back to New Orleans, and she's like, "Oh, she loves anything like this. Like the more gory and violent a movie is, like the more she's into it."
Yeah.
And I told her it was like Fatal Attraction meets The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And she was like totally in it, and she loved it.
Wow.
What do you think about, like, this is such a minor detail, but what do you think about the opening credit, like the title, like the physical word obsession on the blanket at the beginning?
Great. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that is sort of indicative of the thing I'm saying, like a quote better movie.
Mm-hmm.
That idea would have been taken up in a way like, okay, it's on a bedspread in a scene where like it I don't know that I can read much into the choice.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool, unique choice. I'm all for it. But it didn't, I'd really have to stretch to think about giving it meaning, giving it significance. The word obsession on a bedspread appearing in that scene.
It
right?
was almost like, this isn't the right way to describe it, but like I'm struggling with it a little bit, is like fourth wall breaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're seeing an element of the film in the environment of the world. And even though they don't reference it or talk about it, it's not like he's like, I have my obsession blanket. Like later, my grandma gave it to me.
Right.
Yeah. I just thought it was like an interesting little visual treatment at the beginning of it.
It's more interesting than just a graphic overlaid.
Yeah. And then just the raining of the money, I thought was an interesting choice.
It's very cartoonish.
There's like definitely like some cartoon elements of it, but it does get, like, especially like the montage stuff. It like has like, like when Rick and Morty does a montage, it's like almost like it's a montage time. Like they kind of like call attention to it, and the joke is that it's a montage. I felt like it had a little bit of that.
Yeah. Something I couldn't put together is at the very end, he goes into the bathroom and just can't shoot himself, so he decides to swallow a bunch of pills. And then you hear the One Wish Willow chime from the other room. Presumably she's taken it out of its package.
Yeah.
And then he makes himself throw up. So what happened?
So I think she wishes for him to love her, because he comes out and he's like kind of like puppy dog eyes for her in a way he hasn't been since the beginning of the film. I mean, it's obviously like not spoken on, but I think that would be like the read of it, which I think gives it like a bit of like a Romeo and Juliet ending, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then I wonder if like, has she been able to observe all these things, or is she just waking up to that chaos?
My impression was yes, but I don't remember why.
No. I mean, you could take it either way. I think we're just, like, not often that like movies have like a lot of ambiguity like this does, which I think is so cool. Like,
well, if history's any indication, there'll be an obsession too, and it'll explain everything
Yeah.
in intimate detail and take away all the ambiguity.
Yeah, it's sort of like I saw an interview with the director and they were saying like, would you be willing to come back and do more of these, because like, the premise, like what's another One Wish Willow look
totally.
like? And I was like, man, what a fucking bummer to like go back to the well. I mean, obviously, look, man, if you just made $300 million off of a under $1 million movie, like I would make these fucking forever.
Yeah.
Like, like you couldn't stop me from making these movies. But I was thinking it would be better, almost better as like a TV show or like like just lower the stakes a little bit on it and being good and just have some interesting wishes happen. But I was
especially
surprised
if they're not always horror, especially if sometimes they're just nice.
But there's an issue of the Sandman comic about a character named Prez, who was a kid who just always wants to be the president, and he becomes the president. And the first, like most of it is like a weird, sweet utopia, and then it goes bad. But I think the idea of just like a hope core episode in the middle of like 7 or 8 bleak episodes would be really interesting. Like what does it mean to have a wish go really well?
Yeah.
Like, what if someone really did go like, I wish for world peace? Like, what does that mean? Do you get it? Or do you have like a tyrannical AI just nuke everybody and take over? Like,
Well, wasn't that the plot of Wonder Woman 1984 or something like that? Everybody just gets wishes or...
I have no memory of any of those DC movies.
Yeah. Whatever. Anything else?
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of really it. I mean, it's kind of like a simple, fun, decent movie.
Yeah. So what have we learned?
Be careful what you wish for, bro.
Truly.
Don't be careful what you wish for. I'm kind of on that kick.
Yeah.
I think we should wish boldly. And
are you suggesting that we demand the impossible?
Yes, demand the impossible.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
So yeah, smell you later.
Thanks for listening.